Hello, today is the 15th of January, also a Wednesday. Today we're going to talk about benefits and then also some beginning the idea of drawbacks about this time period, the industrial age. So we're going to first start with a solid benefit. The term philanthropist, that's what our vocab word is. The PH makes an F sound in this case. Um, we're a philanthropist is somebody who wants to promote the general welfare of others. Like they do it because they want to, not because they have to. And they give of their time or their energy, or in this case, by our definition, their money to help improve the lives, the welfare of others. Anybody can be a philanthropist. The ones that we talk about in class happen to be the ones that have a lot of money to give because they have a lot of money in the first place. For example, a well-known philanthropist from this time period was Andrew Carnegie. He was very well known for building and donating books for libraries. Before this point, all libraries were like Netflix or a cable account. You had to pay to become a member, and then as a member, you could check out books. And your subscription each month was meant to buy new books and to replace broken ones, but didn't mean that everyone could afford it. And Andrew Carnegie wanted everyone to have access to knowledge because that's how he felt that he had been successful in life, as he had pushed himself to learn more and to know more. And by having everyone have access to a free library where anyone could be a member, like we have today, then anyone could improve themselves. And so he built thousands of libraries around the United States. Two of the places I've lived, in fact, have had these Carnegie libraries. Here in Alexandria, there used to be one until more recently. It was built attached with the Veterans Affairs and LAR and the Driver's License Bureau. The Carnegie Library, you can still see it. The building is still there. I believe it's just used for storage, but it's called the Carnegie Library, and it's behind the Andrea Theater, across from the City Hall and kitty corner from the police station. So in the same general area as the new library, but just, and I'm sure the building needed a lot of updates and repairs and probably didn't have an elevator, is why they decided to move the library. Also, when I lived in Coleraine, which is up by Grand Rapids, they had a Carnegie Library. And he put these a lot out west so that people would have access to libraries out west where they were just brand new towns. And so really donated a ton of money. Now he had millions to spare, by the way. John D. Rockefeller is another example. And also more recently, Bill Gates would be another example of somebody. He's the founder of Microsoft. And then a couple of students mentioned some YouTubers. I think The Beast was one of them. He has planted lots and thousands of trees around the world, maybe just in the United States, I'm not sure. But these are philanthropists. They promote the welfare of others. They donate, and we all can do that if we so choose. So that's philanthropists. Think about why it's important that people dedicate their time and money to doing something like that, something to a cause that they find important, how that impacts history. Our target for today is to explain what a worker may experience while working in a factory. Yesterday, we spent time talking about the business, different types of businesses and how corporations, and then we watched something on mass production and how factories operate. The day before, making ice cream, and then now ice cream sandwiches, and now yesterday we watched on how they made crayons. So thinking about the good things about factories and industry, we live in a very industrial age right now, lots of factories, lots of manufacturing like this. So what makes that beneficial? And how is the worker in all of this? Because that's a big part of that as well. So we're talking about benefits of industrialization. I'm going to explain what the Gilded Age was. That's also describing this time period. And then we're going to start looking at the workers in this system. So first of all, I had everyone create a bubble map. So that's in the middle. I wanted you to write benefits of industry, and then on the outside to think about what was positive about it. So if you take a moment and pause this video and think about what were benefits of industrialization, like what was the benefits of having industry? For example, it allowed for mass production, making of lots of goods in a short amount of time. So pause me and think about that for a second. All right, I hope you paused me. If you did, then now you can go to this. This is in our current purple folder, the Rise of Industry unit. And yours isn't as long as mine, but I've got a lot of stuff in my folder. So if you click on this Benefits of Industry bubble map example, it should, after you give it a few seconds, pull up an example from 7th hour, their 7th hour class. Now, this is not everything. This is just their example to give you some thoughts as well of what was some of the benefits of industry. People were able to invest because they had money to spend. New technology breeds new technology. More products, they're cheaper. Inventors get money for what they create, so they're able to make more. Owners get money. I would say a couple of stars here for lots of money. It gets faster to make, it's easier, the work is less difficult. We need more people, so we encourage people to come to the United States. Workers get jobs, they get paychecks, they get to buy stuff. So there are lots of benefits to industry. So that took us about 10 minutes to brainstorm through and then to share out. So that's the benefits of industry. Now, then I talked about that there were some negative parts too. And this actually came, like, the thought behind this came about because Mark Twain started, and he's an author from back in 1900s and before. He wrote The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, and he coined this time period the Gilded Age. And gilding is something most of us don't know about, but gilding is, for example, this right here. This wall has been gilded. Looks pretty shiny, looks pretty nice. So think for a moment, what do you think gilding is? Okay. Now, as you're thinking about it, know that this is what the wall looked like behind it. And that looks way better, but this is what it looked like. So gilding is literally the process of covering something with a very thin layer of gold. So this right here is actual gold. It's been, though, pressed really, really thin. So thin that if you were to touch it, it would flake. And so this person can only use the paper and the brush to rub it onto the frame. And this is the frame right here. It looks like it's a little beat up, maybe a little worn. So they're covering it to make it look better. Just like our wall, we covered that wall to make it look nicer, not so concrete-ish. And so that's what gilding is. On the outside, it looks really nice. Looks shiny, looks bright, looks glittering. A period of glittering on the surface, but underneath, not so good. So right like this one right here, these two exactly the same. This one just looks way better. It looks like it could all be gold. Looks beautiful, looks shiny. This just looks like a piece of wood. So that's this industrial age as well. The benefits, all of the people getting a paycheck and working, and owners making lots of money and being able to invest, and new inventions, and people moving to the big city, and all the lights and all the things to do, that all looks really cool on the outside. But when you peel away that tiny bit of gold, those few people that are experiencing that amazingness, there's a lot of this behind it, and not so good. And so that's what we're going to look at now. So the last thing we did, and you're going to need to find, if we go back to this page, and I go back to the main page in our purple folder, you're going to find a reading that I want you to do, and it's at the close to the very bottom. It's called The Workers Are Exploited and something else, and Workers' Salaries or something like that. So I'm going to open it up, and you'll see what it is. So first of all, once it pops up, you're going to do a little reading. And I want you to read this. This actually comes from a former textbook I used. And I want you to read about workers being exploited. So the word exploited is a big fancy word. It basically means to be taken advantage of. And so I want you to read through this once to yourself. And then I want you to go back through it and underline sentences that support this claim. The workers of the Gilded Age were taken advantage of, and the owners of these businesses didn't care about them. Okay? So you're going to do that, and then go back and highlight it. And then on this side, you're going to fill in how much did these workers make according to the other side. And then you're going to use this inflation chart to help you figure out what was the actual salary in today's money. Now, this is pretty simple to use. I'm running out of time here. But you write in the amount, you change this year to $18.99, and then you'd simply hit submit, and that's it.